wielded the mantle of power, like I said, for the better part of Nigeria's existence, and they have also, they seem to have made it a point of duty to neglect their own area. They have kept their own people in poverty. They have kept them with lack of access to education, and they have kept them even in the trials of insecurity. From what we have seen unfolding over the years, Northern Nigeria has not been the better for it, despite the fact that they have wielded, like I said, the mantle of power over the better part of this nation's existence. So I think it should look harder among its own kin for whoever has marginalized and has neglected the development of Northern Nigeria.
Yeah, and of course, you should also remember that the previous head of state had marginalized some geopolitical zones in the country in the past, and of course they favored their own tribe, their own zone, marginalizing other zones of the country. And well, some zones are now complaining. They are complaining bitterly now, but I don't know where that one will end.
Well, by and large, I guess we'll always have these complaints and lamentations with us, different parts of the country, complaining of marginalization. But then we must, I guess we are still evolving, our democracy, our politics still evolving, and we must, as we evolve, downplay ethnic sentiments. These are some of the things that have bogged us down. And in as much as a leader should also try as much as possible to spread the tentacles of development to every nook and cranny of the country. So also the followership must also be willing to cooperate. Where there is simply marginalization, we must have a way of drawing the leadership's attention to that. Sometimes we could have serious oversights in quite a number of cases, and it is up to the leaders of that region, of that particular region, or that particular area that feels marginalized to speak for their people, not hobnobbing with those in power for their own personal interests, which is what I've seen unfolding in northern Nigeria over the years. Even where the north has truly been marginalized, you would see that their leaders have done little or nothing about it. They care much more about their own personal interest, and like I said, they make every spirited effort to keep their people in perpetual darkness and ignorance.
Yes.
And when they do not have their way, their way as in furthering their own personal interest, they instigate them through the tool of religion to make trouble. And that is what every Nigerian is afraid. Every Nigerian leader is afraid of. Every Nigerian politician, potential politician who wants to rule this country, that is what they are afraid of when it comes to northern Nigeria. And they are very capable of destabilizing the country, largely due to the ignorance that has been foisted on them by their own leaders, by their own people, and the darkness they are perpetually kept in. So Senator Kwankwaso should first and foremost start thinking about this. The Emir of Kano tried to make that difference, the one who was deposed, and it cost him his throne.
Yes.
So I think Senator Kwankwaso should begin first and foremost to look in that direction. The people of the north will be able to speak more for themselves if they are better educated, if they are not perpetually held in the grip of ignorance. Like I said, they will be able to speak more for themselves, and they would have more educated people. But thank God for what we are having now. I think there's a new consciousness in northern Nigeria, though it's spreading gradually, evolving gradually. But then I believe that region will actually get there. Like I said, they will get there. Like some people believe that they will stop pulling back the rest of the country. Well, that's the opinion of some people, not mine.
Yes, opinion of some people, but I know that, well, in the past there have been, educated people from that region, yes, who had been ministers, who are academicians, who are senators, who speak English, good English, in the public,
and who have done nothing to develop
their area. Yes. Now this one says there is panic. Yes, panic. That is talking about this UK issue, talking about deportation. Nigerians risk deportation as UK scraps sponsorship for over 100 skilled jobs. Well, skilled jobs. I believe that is one of the areas where Nigerians are really active and make some cash, a quick cash.
That would also include vocational skills, I
Skills,
guess.
yes. Let me go through it. Panic has gripped thousands of Nigerians working in the United Kingdom on certificate of sponsorship or skilled worker visas over the new regulations announced by the British government. And the UK government, in its efforts to control immigration, has removed over 100 jobs, including skilled worker roles, from COS eligibility, while the salary thresholds for other jobs are on the scheme have also been increased by at least 30%. And the government removed lower skilled roles previously at RQF level 3 to 5 from COS eligibility unless they appear on a newly created temporary shortage occupation list. Okay, there is a condition there. And some of the delisted jobs include managers and proprietors in agriculture, forestry, hospitality, and logistics. That is SOC 1211 to 1258. Well, whatever all those means, I really don't know. Health, community, and welfare roles, such as dispensing opticians, pharmaceutical technicians, youth, and community workers and counselors. Protective service roles like police officers, sergeants and below, fire service officers and prison officers, as well as creative and performing arts professionals, including artists, authors, translators, actors, dancers, photographers, and interior or fashion designers, among others. And those are these areas. They are the areas where Nigerians, yes, and Africans generally really thrive. Yes, these areas they are, targeting.
Well, I'm wondering, are they going to start this regulation afresh, or are they targeting those who are already in the UK?
I think
working on those terms and conditions.
Yes, I think they are giving new regulations. Yes, new regulations by the maybe to, like I said, trying to reduce immigration.
Okay. So if there are fresh regulations,
regulations.
What I'm getting at here is, are those regulations meant for those who want to seek entry into the UK?
I believe that should be the situation. Those that
it will not be fair. Those that are already there, you were the ones
yes,
that
for so many years.
And, it speaks to one thing: we need to develop our own country. We need to make sure things are better back home. We need to address those issues that is making people go in droves to the UK. Once upon a time, we used to have, yes, our education system, for instance, was good enough to attract people from the UK in under exchange programs. And they would come to our universities to actually study. And but then, as time went on, many years of military rule, but then things became much worse under the politicians because they have the option of sending their children to go school in the world's choice capitals, and they don't give a hoot. They don't even care whether you get education or not.
Yes,
And I remember during the agitation for June 12 and for the validation of the June 12 mandate, it was 1993, and one of our lecturers, we were in class. It was the time that the interim national government, the contraption headed by Chief Ernest Shonekan,
yes,
had just taken over. And we were in class. We were saying, "Oh, we don't go give. We are not going to accept this. Blah blah blah." Our lecturer came in and he worked just for a while. Then, when the uproar subsided, he now said, "Okay, you want to protest, you want to fight and all that," because the students' union was gearing up for a protest at that time. And he said one thing. He said, "Do you think these people care whether you get education or not?" Well, the whole class went silent. So, do you think they care whether you get education or not? It's to your own detriment. You are not going to achieve anything. That's what he told us. And you would only prolong your stay in school. That was the advice he gave us, that we should just face our studies and well, so
some of you will begin to think about that statement that he made
about what he has said. Then, as for those who are living in the UK and those who still plan to go, well, I think they should have seen this coming. They relaxed their immigration rules in the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. I've said this again and again on this program.
Yes.
Because they lost much of their skilled workforce at that time. You know, the European nations were hard hit by COVID-19. Many people died.
Yes.
So they were looking towards developing nations for skilled workers to replace those who are them unfortunately passed on. So now I guess they've reached their benchmark. It's a long-term plan. They actually knew they were going to do this eventually, and I guess they have achieved what they wanted to achieve, the replacement of those people that have died over a period of time. So they don't need us anymore. At least not in the numbers that they were allowing us to come in, that they opened their doors to us. So I guess the party is over. So they've tightened their regulations again. They've tightened their immigration rules again. That's exactly what has happened. So, like I said, we should think of taking care of home and those things that makes everyone want to leave this country must be addressed. I know I'm just it's just rhetoric I'm saying here, and of course no one will listen to what we are saying this morning. I mean, talking about those who should listen and those who have the means to implement a better Nigeria. But then maybe we'll get there one day. Maybe we'll see that light at the end of the tunnel, which Mr. John says does not exist.
Yes. And I know those who are supposed to be listening to this, I'm sure they will be maybe raining in quote some kind of courses on we that are presenting.
No,
the youths especially. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yes. Now there's a problem brewing in Osun State. You know, Osun State local government workers have not been going to work for some time now, and the local government allocations are being sent to the state government account. Now the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, is urging the Supreme Court to compel Osun State government to refund 7 months local government allocations to the Minister of Finance.
You refund the money.
So that is what I'm thinking. So what will the Minister of Finance, even if it is refunded, what will he use it for? Will it be, overtaken again by the federal government, or will it? I don't understand what that one means.
Like I said, what kind of refund is that? So long as the Osun State government can account for that money,
yes,
can tell us that the money is still safe where it is, or even if it has been used, if they can justify what it was used for. And if they can be accountable, that's all we need.
Yes.
We're asking them to, really?
And the request was contained in a response filed through Fagbemi's counsel, Chief Akin Olujemi, SAN, to a suit instituted by the government via its Attorney General. And Osun had sued the AGF as the sole defendant, alleging that the federal government failed to release the statutory allocation due to its 30 local government councils for March 2025. And in the suit, the state government claimed that when it queried the Ministry of Finance over the unpaid allocation, the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, allegedly said he was acting under the AGF's directive. So, however, the AGF denied the claim, challenging the legitimacy of the suit, accusing the state government of contempt for allegedly disobeying a July 11, 2024 Supreme Court judgment. I think talking about a payment of local government funds. And Fagbemi argued that Osun's reliance on the 104 case of AG Lagos State, acting Attorney General of Lagos State and Attorney General of the Federation, where the Supreme Court ordered release of withheld funds to Lagos State was misplaced.
Okay, but now the question is, the local government workers in Osun State, have they been getting paid? And if indeed they are getting paid in the midst of the crisis, despite not going to work, where is the money coming from? Where is the salary coming from?
Because no one is really sure whether they are being paid or not. I traveled sometimes last week to Akure. We had to pass through some local government in Osun State, and wow, if you see the secretariats that I saw, all bushy, you will know that yes, nobody has been here for a long time. You understand? Nobody.
All right, 223 importers shortchanged federal government of 379.5 billion naira in 3 years, says Customs. So now that you know it, just address it. And you have Ekiti recruits 400 new Amotekun agro marshal operatives. And well, on Awujale, the later Awujale Obasikuru Adetono. Our burial law is not against traditional rights, says Ogun Attorney General. You know, this back and forth, this friction between the state government and the traditional institutions.
Yes.
The traditional religionists in Ogun State who are aggrieved because they were not allowed to perform the necessary burial rites for the late Awujale. And well, it's still not clear to me why the government said that those rights must not be observed. But then, I guess it's the desire of the late Oba's family that it should be buried strictly in the Islamic way. But let's see what they are saying here.
Just check out what they are saying.
Law is not against traditional rights. So they are not against it. So I'm wondering why, like I said, why did they not allow the traditional institutions to perform their own role? Okay. All right. It says here, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Ogun State, Mr. Oluwashino Ogunbade SAN. That's a future piece here in the Saturday Tribune. And he says we cannot divorce this issue of. Okay, the question here is that the controversies that have arisen over the burial of the late Obasikuru Adetono, the Awujale of Ijebuland, are still lingering. It has extended to the closure of markets for 1 week as part of the traditional rites for the passage of the Awujale. And looking into the future, the question being asked is that are there laws that could help the people whose means of livelihood were negatively impacted by such closure of markets? Now, okay, let me fast forward now to the matter of the IFA Council, the ones that have decided to institute a court action. The Attorney General says, let me clarify my response to the threat by the IFA Council to institute an action. It is actually regrettable that they are considering or have actually decided to toe that path. Ogun State is noted for religious tolerance of its indigenous people and residents. And it says, well, Ogun State accommodating all religions, Christian, Muslims, and traditionalists. And that it says the proper thing to do for the IFA Council, if they feel like is to go to court. So now, with regards to the issue in controversy, the decision shouldn't start with Oba's law in Ogun State of 2021. It should start with the Constitution, which guarantees the freedom of thought and of religion. And it is not essentially or basically an Islamic versus traditionalist thing. They are all religions. So under the Constitution, if you're a traditionalist, you are guaranteed the right to practice your religion. If you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim, it is the same guarantee. Why I do not think anybody should or will be able to argue against. What I do not think anybody should or will be able to argue against is the fact that the religion you practice in life will surely not end the moment you die. This is because all religions have practices or rights for basically every stage in life and death. So if a man has lived all his life as a Christian, will he at his death be buried as a Muslim if a Muslim had practiced Islam all his life, and when he dies, you want to take his corpse to the Anglican Church? Is that how it works? Oh, Bimbo, oh, really? Mr. Attorney General, so now is the time to start remembering that an Oba was a Muslim all his life. An Oba who went through all those traditional rights,
yes,
when he was to become the Oba. An Oba that wasn't an Oba that wasn't conscious of the fact that he was a Muslim or a Christian, and he did not refuse to go through all the traditional rites to become an Oba. Now he's dead. You are saying he's strictly a Muslim, he's strictly a Christian. So those rites should not be performed as they were performed when he was to become the Oba.
Oba, yes.
So an Oba that would eventually maybe give instructions, or his family would come up and say he was a Muslim or himself should be buried as a Muslim. They should have told him not to accept to become an Oba, or if he was going to become an Oba, he should have fought the traditional institutions at that point when he wanted to become the Kabiyesi, and you have told them point blank, I'm not going to go through all these rites. The Oluyole, as far as I know, he was yes, he was a Muslim, a very pious and practicing Muslim, but he was also a traditionalist to the core. He participated in every rite of installation, and there was no traditional activity, cultural activity of the traditional religion is that he did not participate in as the king. So I'm wondering.
That is how it is supposed to be. Yes.
So just my point here. If you are not averse to going through all those rites at the point where you are supposed to become king, and when you die, and then the family now comes up and says that, oh, he was a Muslim all his life, and oh, really? Well, my opinion here,
yes.
I stand to be corrected, Mimbo.
No, that was also what happened. You remember 1998, during the reign of former Oba Adeyeri in Iseyin, in Oyo State, when he slumped during an orientation ceremony. Former military administrator of Oyo State, Colonel Ahmed Usman, was present at that ceremony. I was privileged to be there too. He slumped. He was a Muslim and a traditionalist too. So the burial was supposed to take place, I think, the second day. Well, it actually came up, but the traditionalists had, insisted that they will, yes, take him, the normal traditional rites for dead Obas. They will take them somewhere, one enclave somewhere. The Muslims now rejected. They said they would not allow him to be, taken to anywhere. There was a kind of...
Why didn't they fight against him going into the Kwebi when he was to be installed? Why didn't the Muslims... of course, they would have been... The Muslim community and their leaders in that area, they would have been very happy that a Muslim is going to become the Kabiyesi
yes.
at that time. So they did not fight against him going to the Kwebi.
So there was a kind of imbroglio then. But at the end of the day, they, agreed within themselves. The Muslims, did their prayers, their normal prayers that they do on dead bodies. And at the end of the day, yes, the former Oba Adeyeri was moved into one enclave. And at the point, nobody could move beyond that. And and everybody just retrieved. At some point, I believe the Muslims there, at least they were satisfied to some extent that at least they were able to perform their own rites on the Oba.
What beats me is that when the Kabiyesi is on the throne, and they will tell you that he is the father of all, that he is the custodian of every religion, that whether be it Christian, be it Muslim, be it traditional religion, when the Muslims are having anything, maybe any festival or whatever, they can visit him. The Christians, ditto for the Christians, ditto for the traditional religionists. They go to the palace, they visit the Kabiyesi, they perform rites and all that. So Kabiyesi is supposed to be for all, but it's when he dies that the family now remembers that is private to them. He's no longer father of all when he dies. He now belongs to the family alone, who have the authority to decide how he is to be buried. Yes, they have the right to decide how to be buried to some extent, but then that doesn't take away the fact that he was father of all, and even in death, he is still father of all as he joins his ancestors. So to watch over the rest of the community, wherever the ancestors are. So it's kind of baffling when they now say that traditional rites should not be performed.
Yes.
And that he has suddenly become private to them, just them alone to decide how and where or when he should be buried.
I want our listener and Nigerians to remember, when former president, late President Buhari died, President Buhari was a military man. He was an head of state before he turned civilian to become a civilian president. And when he died, what happened? He was buried with full military honors. So that is a kind of resemblance to what we are saying. Not that some people or his family will say no, they should carry him to one place and bury him, and Muslims will just, like he was buried, full military honors, because he is also commander-in-chief, was commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Like I said, that same family should have resisted him undergoing all the traditional rites that made him king. Why didn't they see that as fetish when he was being installed? Now he's dead. They believe that it is the devil that wants to take charge of the remains of their dead father.
Yes, I have this one here, talking about the power sector now. The 4 trillion naira being owed the generating companies, that is GENCOs, 4 trillion naira power sector debt, that promises have been made about 3 times that this money will be settled by the Minister of Power and the federal government and all other stakeholders. And the President, Bola Tinubu, has assured the power generation companies now of his administration's commitment to resolving the resolving the over 4 trillion naira debt, to the generation companies. Well, he has resolved again. Let us see what will happen, because it is about promises and promises and promises, but at the end of the day, you will not see any implementation of those promises. Well, he has appealed for patience from the GENCOs and patience, and well, we hope that the GENCOs too will have patience. Let's see what will happen.
Other many fear dead as gunmen attack Imo villages, and Makide's promotion of cultural heritage, selfless service, Enzim Are Omoluabi title, that is coming from the Omitutu initiative in the diaspora. And Benue farmers return to farms as troops kill bandits, destroy camps. Good one there. And well, I think we should open the phone lines, but we are.
It says, okay, you will. Presidency to Kwankwaso Tinubu not neglecting North. Yes, I think we delved about that. TCN Secretary, we didn't amend AGM notice, and Tinubu owes diaspora for $20.93 billion remittances in 2024.
All right, quickly from the book of matrimonial audits this morning.
Has been always demanded.
My wife crushed my scrotum, arrested me with the police, says husband. He attempted to strangle me, says wife. Okay, let's assume the wife is acting in self-defense. I'm wondering,
is it the scrotum every time?
And I'm wondering how she was able to have that easy access to the scrotum. I mean, considering where the scrotum is located. So what was he looking at?
It is easy. The scrotum is always an easy target. You understand? Yes.
Well, considering its location, and unless you are naked, even if you are naked,
no,
to get at it, you have to bend and I don't know.
No, it might. She or she might, grab it, even if he's not naked.
Okay, lashing out blindly.
Yes,
just
targeting. Yes.
Well, if her husband, she will know how to access it. Whether he has his clothes on or not, you know how to access it easily. After all, she must have been accessing it under more pleasant circumstances.
Yes.
So now that it's a fight, she would also know how to get at that particular part of the husband's anatomy. And okay, at this one, my wife believes I'm cheating on her. Checks my private parts. That's coming from the husband. The husband is sniffing at his wife's panties or something like that and checking his wife, but now the other way around. So how would you know if your husband has been cheating? By checking his manhood or his private parts, or by checking his sausage? By checking on his sausage? What I don't know. What more would you expect to find? All right, let's open the phone lines. Time to hear from our listeners this morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Alex. 070-5555-1985 080-55-00985. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Oluyole.
Good to have you.
Hello?
Good morning, Mr. Joe Michael.
Okay, sir. I want to wish you, I want to say happy weekend to you. Yes, on the issue of marginalization, you know, when the late President Muhammadu Buhari was here, we are saying that they are the marginalizers. Now, Southern is now there, and not Ghana are saying we are marginalize them. So what are we saying? I want to believe Nigeria is not one. Two, on the issue of burial of Obas in Yoruba land, I'm not talking about Abuja now. I'm talking generally about Obas in Yoruba land. We are even in those days. We were told, or we had that Obas that belief at the what we call it, that they used to bury them where nobody knows. God bless you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This commercial break, we'll be right back.
Conversation.
gbogbo ènìyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló mọ rírì ètò ìṣèjọba omi tuntun lábẹ́ ìṣàkóso ọlọ́lá jùlọ gómìnà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé, pàápàá lẹ́ka ètò ìlera tó pójú owó pẹ̀lú báwọn ọmọdé aláboyún àtàwọn ìyálọ́mọ tí wà lálàáfíà ní ìtẹ̀síwájú àgbéyé àti àwòyè àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀bí oúnjẹ fọ́mọ tuntun jòjòló lómi ọyàn ìyá rẹ̀ fóṣù mẹ́fà àkọ́kọ́ ní kété ìbímọ láàrin wákàtí kan ìgbẹ̀bí ọmọ rẹ̀ nílé ìwòsàn gbọ́mọ tuntun jòjòló sọ́yàn fún ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjígbégbé ọpọlọ okun àti agbára lẹ́yìn eléyìí fọ́mọ fọ́mọ rẹ̀ lọ́yàn pọ́nbélé láì fi omi àgbo tàbí oúnjẹ kankan sí àfikún bó ti wulẹ̀ kó mọ fóṣù 6 gbáko. àǹfààní eléyìí lọ́mọ tuntun jòjòló yóò fi wà ní ìlera tó jí pépé. ọmọ tuntun tó mọ yàyà rẹ̀ fóṣù 6 lọ́pọlọ rẹ̀ máa ń dàgbà. ìdènà àwọn àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn ìgbàláyè àwọn èròjà aṣaralóore àti afáralókun fi yàtọ̀ láàrin àwọn akẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀. ìyálọ́mọ tó ń pèsè ọjọ́ iwájú rere fọ́mọ rẹ̀ ní sàmúlò ìlànà gbígbọ́mọ sọ́yàn fóṣù 6 àkọ́kọ́ kọ́mọ lè dàwòye. ìkéde ìlú wa látọ̀dọ̀ ikọ̀ àárín àti iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Right, we're back on the program is still conversation. Right, keep the calls coming in. 070 5555 Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Tola, Mr. Timbo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
John calling from Ilorin.
Good to have you, Mr. John.
Kwankwaso said Northern has been marginalized.
Oh.
He thought that something is wrong with him. How can you say such? Why is it that when any Southerner comes into power, barely 2 years, Northern will start complaining? Kwankwaso in his house, children are being marginalized in his own house. If you go to Kwankwaso house now by 8 o'clock, you will see children in their hundreds eating matter. Those children will come back in the evening around 4 o'clock to eat food in Kaba. Kwankwaso never deemed fit to send those children to school. Is that called marginalization? And his own children sitting down early morning to eat masa and in the evening eat food in Kaba. They are all in school. He never deemed fit. Just because few days ago he traveled on road from Kaduna to Abuja and he discovered the roads are bad. He started complaining. He has not traveled from Benin. He has not traveled to Akure to know how terrible the Southwest State and Southeast State are. It's unfortunate for him. He should bury his head in shame. Mr. Kwankwaso, those children you feed every day, send them to school. That is when you know, I know you don't marginalize other people's children. Secondly, on the traditional this thing, let's call a spade a spade. The late king of Jebuland is a traditionalist, and it should have been allowed to bury traditionally. That is the truth. Let me ask you, Mr. Timbo, Mr. Tola, if we are not careful in the Southwest, we will be heading for a ghastly disaster. Look at the children that when you say for them, Orobo, Adu, most of them became somebody in life. Now look at the children that we used to name with Bible and Quran. I want to be we abandon the way we name our children then. They are used to prosper. We don't use to play John. We don't use to play Matthew. We don't use to play Society. We don't use to play Abu. Then, it is a woman, so one day, they were prospering. They don't talk to them ever. Look at the children we are not learning the Bible and Quran today. We should not destroy this tradition.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Baba.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, he has made his mind known about these issues.
Well, those things they raise, I don't think it's a factor how those children were named. I think it's a factor of we parents, the way we bring up our children. Parents have largely neglected their responsibilities. Ditto for the church and the mosque, and that's why we are having what we are having today. All right, we have to go. Check your time, it's 7:20, and we have a commercial slot coming up, and we'll be back same time Monday morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akombi. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your weekend.
Bíbélì tí mo rà ọmọ ni ó jogún o iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ mi.
Èní ọjọ́ Friday àṣejáde ẹ lọ ṣe rere. Lọ́nà ọjọ́ Ẹtì wá bí yá máa yọ òní ṣe Ẹtì. Òní tààtì. Wà á tààtù. Èní lọ́jọ́ kẹfà àwẹ̀ wá o. Ọba mi ò tilẹ̀ kú gbẹ́ngbẹ́ mọ́ sùúrù dá. Ọba ń kíjẹ olórúkọ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́ olórúkọ rẹpẹtẹ. àní bàbá tó tó gbójúlé alólùgbàlà tó lágbára títí dé òpin ayé ọlọ́run mi náà ni adúró tini lọ́jọ́ ogúnlé gbogbo abiyamọ ẹ̀fọ́ fàyè pariwo go. pásọ fákẹ́yẹ mẹ́rin ni mò ń jẹ́ bàbá alábìyamọ òkè ìṣòro yóò di pẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ nínú ilé yìí o pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ jẹ́ pẹpẹ kan tí wọ́n fi ń dáyàn dúró tá yóò fojú sí rárá bàbá yẹ ẹni tó bá fi pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ dáyàn dúró ó ti fi gbẹ̀gẹ́dẹ́ síbi tí ẹni yẹn lẹ́dẹ́ láyé bàbá yìí wọ́n lónìí gbọ́ ẹni tó bá fi pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ dáyàn dúró fẹ́ kó máa yípo lójú kan ni o ẹni tó fi pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ dáyàn dúró wá lọ́ka kò lè ṣe jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ o ẹni tó yẹ kó lọ́kọ kò lọ́kọ ẹni tó yẹ kó láya kò láya ẹni tó yẹ kó lóyún kò lóyún ẹni tó yẹ kó lọ́wọ́ kò lówó ẹni tó yẹ kó lọ ìlú òyìnbó kò rí bilẹ̀ yìí tó lọ nǹkan kò rí kankan mú bọ̀ wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé ọmọ yẹn ló máa padà fún lóúnjẹ alájẹ ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n padà dá dúró ìròyìn ayọ̀ ń rẹ̀ o ibikíbi ọ̀nkọ́ tá a fi ká ìṣẹ̀dá mọ́lẹ̀ agbára kan wà tó ju agbára tiẹ̀ lọ ipá kan wà tó ju ipá tiẹ̀ lọ ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà tó ju ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ lọ ìmọ̀ kan wà tó ju ìmọ̀ rẹ̀ lọ àṣẹ kan wà tó ju àṣẹ tiẹ̀ lọ níbi tí kọ́kọ́rọ́ pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ wà ibẹ̀ láti ní Másákì Olódùmarè tó ń ṣí gbogbo ilẹ̀kùn èmi ò fẹ́ mọ bó ṣe lè sà mi ò fẹ́ mọ bó ṣe gbìyànjú tí ò dáhùn èmi ò fẹ́ mọ tá a yẹ fi dá ọ dúró èmi ò fẹ́ mọ bí tó ti rìn dé nínú àdúrà mi ò fẹ́ mọ tó ogun ilé bàbá rẹ sọ mi ò fẹ́ mọ tó ogun ilé ìyá rẹ sọ mi ò fẹ́ mọ nǹkan tí ogun ibi tó ti márì yìí sọ mi ò fẹ́ mọ ogun tí ibi tó ti ṣe kékeré sọ kódà mi ò fẹ́ mọ tí ogun àdúgbò rẹ sọ o èmi mọ̀ pé mo rí Jésù tó ń gbọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó ti sọ ìrètí nù tó ń rọ gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n rò pé wọ́n ní ọ̀la lọ́wọ́ tó ń tú orí ẹni tí ò sún ọ̀ṣẹ́ tó dìde ogun nígbàkigbà tá a bá pẹ́ torí pé akọ́wé pé ológun lọ́lúwa. Olúwa sì ní orúkọ rẹ̀. ó yẹ pariwo ya pẹpẹ ìdádúró pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ lórí ọmọ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ lórí aya àkànmọ́lẹ̀ lórí bàbá àkànmọ́lẹ̀ lórí iṣẹ́ lórí ìgbéyàwó lórí ìbímọ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tí òjò rẹ mọ bí àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tí òjò mọ tọ́jú rẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tí òjò kọ́kọ́ mọ rẹ ó lọ jìnnà àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tí ó fàyè orí ọpẹ́ lẹ̀ pẹpẹ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tí òjò ṣe bó ṣe wọ̀ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tó sọmọdọ̀ tá rẹ lójijì pẹpẹ àkìmọ́lẹ̀ àkànmọ́lẹ̀ tó sọ ibi tí ìwà àtọmọ rẹ lè dé láyé màmá ìdìde kúrò lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì ó yẹ kó mọ̀ wípé tí ọ̀rọ̀ bá ti jáde báyìí àṣẹ máa ń tẹ̀lé ni bí wọ́n mọ ibi tó ká ìṣẹ̀dá mọ́ o mọ kéde ó yẹ àtúnyí sílẹ̀ o adá ọlọ́rẹ̀ tó di òmìnira agbára tó jí Lásárù dìde ó yẹ kó tú ọ sílẹ̀ agbára tó jí Jésù dìde kó tú ọ sílẹ̀ agbára tó lajú afọ́jú nínú Bíbélì kó tú ọ sílẹ̀ agbára tó mú kí àrọ́ tàbí ẹtì yẹ̀sì máa rìn nínú Bíbélì ó yẹ tú ọ sílẹ̀ agbára tó wọ wèrè gẹ́dẹ́rà sàn ó yẹ kó tú ọ sílẹ̀ agbára tó bọ́ 5,000 ènìyàn nínú Bíbélì ó yẹ kó tú ọ sílẹ̀ látọkọ gbèsè lọ́dọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ayé òní yọ igi nídìí àrò iná ọmọ rẹ tó ń jó yìí o ó yẹ gbọ́ ìsúre wíkẹ̀ndì yìí o wíkẹ̀ndì yìí sọ sọ́wọ́ ó sọ sọ̀rọ̀ wíkẹ̀ndì yìí ó sọ sọ́là wíkẹ̀ndì yìí lọ rí mú wíkẹ̀ndì yìí lọ sọríire wíkẹ̀ndì yìí ọ̀nà là wíkẹ̀ndì yìí ọmọ rẹ jògo wíkẹ̀ndì yìí gbogbo bí tó bá fẹsẹ̀ tẹ̀ agbábẹ̀ fún ọ ayé rẹ tẹ̀síwájú adáyẹrẹ ayé ọmọ rẹ padà bí iṣẹ́ omi ní gúúsù wàá fayọ̀ kórè tọmọtọmọ o wàá jẹun ọmọ adá ogún ibi rẹ padà ó ní fi ẹ̀rú gba ògo lọ́wọ́ ọmọ rẹ lọ o ẹsẹ̀ girigiri kò ní yálẹ̀ rẹ o ó ní jẹ̀bi Ọlọ́run o akíní dẹ́lẹ́dẹ́lẹ́ kò ní kí ọ ní kí ọ̀ràn lórí ọmọ rẹ o ó ní rógun àbìlù àìsàn Jésù yóò gbọ́rọ̀ rẹ rò tọmọtọmọ o ó ní kígbe oró lórí ọmọ rẹ ìrètí rẹ ò ní jẹ́ sásán o ó ní rógun àìsàn ó ní rógun àrùkiri ó ní tẹ́jú ilẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ àròpin ní tẹ̀dá Olúwa rántí rẹ lẹ́ni o ọrọ̀ ayé kò ní mú ọmọ rẹ o ó yá lọ́jọ́ yín nínú àpáta lọ́dádé owó tọmọtọmọ ohun tó fayọ̀ kójọ ayọ̀ ló fi lò ó wàá fayọ̀ jó ń jẹ ayọ̀ rẹ nílé ọmọdé ọjọ́ alẹ́ o a máa ṣe ọmọ rẹ ní ògo ayérayé ọmọ máa tọ́jú rẹ o ọmọ máa mú ọ lọ sí èbúté yíyanjú wàá dẹni ìbùkún ògo máa tàn ògo máa búyọ̀ wàá ṣe kòńgẹ́rẹ́ tọmọtọmọ tó o bá lè o máa bá o tó o bá fà owó máa tó bẹ́ẹ̀yàn bá pẹ́ nínú ìyá rí ẹ̀bí ò ní di gbàtú ayọ̀ tọmọtọmọ ọmọ yín ò ní jàṣẹ dànù o ògo ọmọ rẹ máa yọ ìkúnlẹ̀ abiyamọ máa jẹ́ òjẹ́ wọn mọ́ o ọmọ rẹ máa dọ̀rẹ́ rẹ dalẹ́ o ó yá lọ pàdé abánisáré ọ̀la pàdé olùrànlọ́wọ́ tí ò látakò ọba mi ajídára yóò fàyè rẹ dára rẹ rẹ o wà á ní ìsinmi lórí ọmọ àṣírí Ọlọ́run kì í tú àṣírí ọmọ rẹ ò ní tú ọmọ rẹ máa lọ jìnnà nínú ògo wà á kájọ àwẹ̀ tó gbà lórí ọmọ rẹ o ògo kọ̀rọ̀ níyì ògo ọmọ rẹ máa já gbangba rere wà á yè tọmọtọmọ àdúrà mi sí ọ ní pé ọmọ rẹ máa sọjọ́ o ọmọ máa jẹ fún ọjẹ rẹ̀ ó ní rọ́gbọ́ àlùmútù lórí ọmọ o ọlọ́run pé bàbá alábíyamọ kò ní gbàgbé rẹ o ó máa gbé ọmọ rẹ sókè ayé òní mọ ọmọdé ìrìn àjò ọmọ rẹ rú o Jacob ló gbogbo mẹ́rẹ́sẹ̀ fún Ephraim wọn ní gbogbo ọmọ rẹ fani ẹlẹ́ni o pẹ́pẹ́ ọlọ́run kì í ráwọn ò ní ráwọn owó ò ní ráwọn ìbùkún pẹ́pẹ́ kì í jìyà ò ní jìyà tọmọtọmọ o pẹ́pẹ́ ọlọ́run kì í gbàbọ̀dé orí ọmọ rẹ ò ní gbàbọ̀dé ọjọ́ ayọ̀ ọmọ rẹ máa kò èpè òní bọ́jọ́ ayọ̀ ọmọ rẹ jẹ́ Joseph wọjọ́ ìtìjú fọ́dún 13 ayé òní wọjọ́ ìtìjú fún ọ ilé ayé la ti ń kíni kú oríire ìfà ayé máa bọ̀ dúpẹ́ lórí ọmọ ayé máa bá ọyọ ṣẹṣẹṣẹṣẹ òní fàjọ ọmọ tún fọ̀fọ́ bí Joseph sí Jacob o ayé òní sọmọ rẹ sínú wò tó jìn òní ta ọmọ wá sí ọjà ayé o lẹ́rìí bá fún ọmọ rẹ gbọ́dọ̀ fún ọ ó yá ògo ìdílé yín máa búyọ o ó yá jáde nínú ọ̀gbun kòsíkòsí ó yá jáde nínú oko àìní tọmọtọmọ o ibi Samson gbórílẹ̀ lọ́kọ́ bá ọmọ rẹ òní gbórí lọ ibi tó ògo rẹ ti máa wọlẹ̀ Júdásì òdúró jẹ bàbá ọmọ rẹ lórúkọ Jésù wàá dúró jẹ bàbá àtìyá ọmọ rẹ o ẹbí òní ta ọ̀nù torí owó tí ò tí ì dé yìí o ìbẹ́pẹ́ òṣèjẹ lódìdí òní jìyà jẹ́jẹ́ tán èsúrú tẹ lọ́wọ́ oníyàn òní tẹ lójú olóore o oṣù kẹ́yà jábọ́ lórí gbogbo wa o ire súnmọ́ pẹ́kípẹ́kí látòní o ọmọ wa ní nájà warawara ogun tó lé koko bí ojú ẹja yìí yóò padà dìtàn lórí ọmọ o ọba tó dá owó yóò fowó kẹ́ ọ ayé òní fọmọ náà lójú ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ ló bá ń jó láàfin òní jíjó ìyà ijó ayọ̀ ló máa jó bí ọba o owó máa wọlé wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ òní yánà ogun tọmọtọmọ ẹbí kì í wọnú ká pretend wàá jẹ àjẹyó àti àjẹsẹ́kù o níbi kátàkárà tó ń ṣe yìí wàá tà wàá jèrè o wàá dẹ̀ mọ́wó délé o ọmọ rẹ òní bínú kúrò níwájú olóore a sì máa mara bó dẹ̀ sì máa bá ọ dúpẹ́ òní bẹ̀bẹ̀ jẹun o Jésù Olúwa wa ẹnjìníà jẹ́ gbọ́ èrí tuntun ní títà náà yẹn.
mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ra ilẹ̀ fún mi.
Ọlọ́run ra ilẹ̀ fún ọ láńlẹ́dì.
sá.
tó bá dáhùn àwọn tó wà nílé adáhùn ẹ̀yin láńlẹ́dì. ẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa kọ́lé lóbìnrin lókùnrin ẹ kí aleluya kan kí n gbọ́.
wàá jẹun ọmọ o gbogbo ènìyàn ló máa dá ọrẹ lónìí lórí àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ bá jẹ́ ń da lórí ọmọ ládàá lórí dádì àti mọ́mì àtòrí ìkànṣe kan lọ lọ́dùmarè gbogbo ọrẹ tó ń dá lórí àwọn ẹbí rẹ̀ yóò nítumọ̀ o bó ti wù kó kéré tó bó ti wù kó pọ̀ tó ẹ̀yin ẹjẹ́ àrípẹ́ ẹ fi nǹkan kan ránṣẹ́ àdúrà yìí ti di àdúrà yìí ó sì ti di àdúrà gbogbo ayé owó ò ní sá fún yín o Ọlọ́run bàbá alábìyamọ o ààyè ló wà.
hello prophet 090 60 57 11 10 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 090 60 57 11 10 fún ìtẹ̀síwájú ètò yìí ẹ lè fi ọrẹ sínú account details yìí 30 34 34 77 14 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 30 34 34 77 14 Fákẹ́yẹ Emmanuel ló máa gbé jáde First Bank.
abiyamọ o a ò ní máa bọ́ jẹ mọ́.
98.5 FM. Oh yeah. 98.5 FM. This is the place to be with the radio experience.
If you're looking for the best in news, sports and entertainment, we got everything you need and so much more, yeah.
98.5 FM. Oluyole. 98.5 FM.
Hear me now. You're down to the #1 station. Educative and quality information. Brighten up your day in so many ways. Tune to 98.5
FM. Oluyole. 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM. Oluyole. 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM.
Somebody